Hey everyone, welcome to the Power of Peptides. I am here, Vanessa Joy, with Andrew and Mary Kat Ehrenzeller, my longtime friends, and we are here to educate you through our own personal journeys of these peptides and the application of them in our own health. So, if you're just joining us, you guys are popping in now. We're so excited that you're here. This is a passion of mine. I have been studying holistic health and regenerative medicine for others, but also applying everything that I learn to my own health. I'm very, very, very holistic minded. I have four babies. I had worked with a midwife, birthed two of them at home, and two ended up having to be in the hospital, but that's okay. We'll get into that. I had my own ups and downs through my pregnancies and really leaned into the holistic protocols to transform my health journey. And so I would say goodness, about 12 years ago, I was first introduced to peptides. I did not stay on them. At the time, they were very hard to get and very expensive, which is why when I found out about LEMD, I had no choice but to jump in because I tried to share this with other people and it was not affordable. It was the doctor's fee, the peptide, the injection supplies, and the overnight fees all a la carte. So when I heard of LEMD, I was like, I have to share this because I've tried to share the message of peptides with people, but they just simply can't afford it. So I love what our CEO has done, creating this telehealth, amazing telehealth platform where we can all connect with doctors and find out what peptides are best for us and get them all included at once, which is so exciting. We have this amazing deal right now for the Black Friday. It's microdosing, and you get your 1 month of NAD applied with that order. So I would say I have been doing the microdosing. I never have gone up to the full dosage. But my GLP microdose, so I was actually on like a hormone secretagogue, CJC 1295, but we have something so much better. We have Tessa and IPA and Sermorelin, which are two options. So I was introduced to those. My doctor was like from Hippocrates, where I studied holistic medicine. She's like, Vanessa, this is where medicine is going. I was hesitant because I'm like, what am I putting in my body? I've done all of this work all these years to sustain my health. And yet here I am 20 years later. I mean, using like literally baking soda and essential oils to wash my laundry, natural deodorants, natural skincare. I was not exposed to major, harmful chemicals. Yet I still found myself metabolically busted to where all of the working out, all of the juicing, the fasting, the intermittent fasting, the cleanses, the Ayurveda, all of the things, Dr. Josh Act, like avid follower of him, love that man. And I just still found myself in this place. I was inflamed, I was chronically inflamed, and my joints hurt. I could see it in my skin. I was extremely puffy, dark bags under my eyes. And this is not the place I should have found myself for someone that has been so dedicated in her health regimen for 20 years and actually teaching it. So I actually did stop my community and I stopped teaching because I needed to figure out what was going on with my body. And that's what led me to these peptides. So I do want to tap into a little bit tonight about what these GLP-1, like that's the biggest thing, right? That's the biggest lever that we need to pull is getting our insulin and our sugar under control. So, GLP-1 is basically a peptide, a branched chain amino acid hormone that your body already makes. Okay, it helps to regulate your insulin, your blood sugar. It slows down that gastric emptying and it reduces the food noise. We know that. We all heard a lot about that. So, um, but most of all, like it supports your metabolic balance. So when we can get our blood sugars under control, I feel like that's what really helps to decrease that inflammation. And then your body can start to focus on these other areas, your health. So, neurodegenerative benefits, cardiovascular. Now that these peptides, they have been around for over 20 years in the holistic community, bodybuilding community, and the biohacking community. They just haven't been made accessible. Gotta love and hate Big Pharma for getting involved because I don't fully agree with how they have applied them. I don't believe that the doctors are educated enough. I won't get into that, but um, I do love it because now we have all of millions of dollars being going towards the studies of these peptides, and we're finding out that it's reducing um, breast tumor, like breast cancer tumors. I think we're just at the very tip of this iceberg, and we're going to be learning so much about these peptides. I am so excited to have Andrew. Andrew has his own story. I would love for you to talk about your holistic journey and kind of how the peptides wove into it and the freedom that you guys have found.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, my journey really started as a young boy. When I was 12, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I was the only person in my family to have been diagnosed. So it was very unique. It was very sudden and it was a complete life change. So I went from just being a boy to now I have to know what the endocrine system is. I need to count carbs. I need to monitor my blood sugar continuously. I need to know how to draw insulin from a vial, all these kinds of things. This is before pumps and before pens and all of that. So, uh, yeah, I was thrust into that at an early age, and by God's grace, was never hospitalized for anything with diabetes, but was still very difficult to manage, especially going through puberty and then getting into adulthood and just learning to control your appetite, learning to control your cravings, the food noise, all of that. And so, a lot of people already know, it's literally impossible for your body to burn fat as fuel when your glucose levels are off, when your insulin uh, sensitivity is off, and you're secreting more insulin than you need, or if you're drinking a Coke and your insulin spikes, your body's going to access that sugar before it actually goes into the storehouse to burn fuel. So just these little things were kind of culprits for me. I'd always kind of rise and fall in weight because of that. And then into adulthood, I've actually had brain cancer twice. Once in 2008, I was diagnosed with lymphoma, and then also in 2014 when my wife was literally giving birth to our firstborn, our son Liam. Uh, I was in the hospital again with a major tumor in my brain, and so both of those times, obviously, things are going well. I'm alive on the planet, and I thank God for that. But were major health issues that caused us to really look at what are we putting into our body? What are we, washing our hair with? What are we washing our hands with? Our clothes. I mean, being able to look at all of the chemicals and the toxicity that's just rampant in our food and our water and our atmosphere, you start to get, you can get afraid, or you can do things to help, make it better for yourself and begin to eliminate things. And so we found what worked for us, and that really ultimately led us to this peptide journey, which was, we needed. Actually, my wife was researching it before I ever got involved, and she said, "Hey, I think this might be a good idea for you. You should try it out." And me being a great husband, I was a skeptic at first, like, "Thanks, babe. I'll do my own research." And then I actually did. I asked a couple doctor friends of mine, and they both raved about it and said, this is like the future of medicine, regenerative health, longevity. This is where medicine is going. Our current medical community, the medical community that we know in the West, that is about 20 to 30 years behind, really, in medicine. The practice, the way that they think and apply, it's just it's lacking. And so this is really pioneering, and much of what we do is about educating people. And so when I got on my first peptide, I did tirzepatide, and I lost 35 pounds in 3 months. And I was at my highest weight. I was at 253. I got down to 218. I was definitely supplementing. I mean, my lifestyle was, I was active. I was, lifting 3 times a week, full body workouts. I was walking consistently almost every day, a few miles. So I was moving. And then when I added the peptide to my life, I mean, the food noise instantly gone, inflammation gone, joint pain gone. My energy level went through the roof, brain cognition through the roof. It was just like a switch just got flipped. My wife was like, "Wow, this is really really working for you. I really want to do it too." So she was the one that researched it first, but then got into it after I did. And so we kind of tag teamed, and she definitely jumped on board with LEMD as a brand partner way before I did. I just quietly worked on myself for about a year. But, about a month ago, I was like, "Babe, this is literally transformed my life. I've lost a total of 70 pounds, and I've gained so much lean muscle mass." I won't bore you with all the details, but I will say I did a full blood panel, like my last blood test, and it gave me a number based on just looking at my blood. If it didn't know anything about me, if it just looked at my blood, it said I was a 38-year-old athlete. I'm a 45-year-old man. So by taking peptides and doing the work that I needed to do, I literally gave 7 years of my life back. Now, I have an 11-year-old son, a 7-year-old son, and I have a 2-year-old daughter. If my daughter gets married in 20 years, she's 22. That means I will be 65 years old. I want to be the cool, good-looking, full of life guy walking her down the aisle, dancing up a storm. You know what I mean? Like I want to be that person. And so in order to be that person, I need to invest in my health today. And that's why we're a part of the LMD community.
Hey, Andrew, there's a question here real quick. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes.
good? Okay, okay.
Yes, I can see
So,
it.
yeah, okay. So Cassie was just asking, like, as a type 1 diabetic, you use GLP.
I do.
Mm. Yeah,
And I know that it was designed primarily for type 2 diabetics. And I get the I don't know if there's any hesitancy in the question, but I was definitely hesitant too. But based on the counsel that I had from a couple of different doctors and just knowing my own body, like honestly, your body better than anybody else does, better than a doctor, better than anyone. And so I knew that my insulin was going to have to drastically reduce because it was going to become so sensitive because of the peptide. It was going to become more efficacious. And so I was taking, let's just say, 20 units of insulin in a day. And that's eating relatively low carb diet. I went from taking like say 20, 15 to 20 units to like 4 or 5 in a day because the insulin became so efficacious. And my blood sugar levels are literally the best. My A1C is the best that it's been since I was diagnosed 33 years ago. So it is
And
working.
can I just add to that? It's kind of scary too because you're never sure when you're sleeping, these things can be affected. So while he's sleeping, he's waking up in the middle of the night. He doesn't do that the way that he was um, on these.
that's so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. So sleeping better, don't snore as much. That's a hallelujah right there.
It
Uh,
is.
so yes, I hope that yes, I have a type 1 diabetic, and she is, it's been life
And
changing for her and her cycle. Yes, amen. And
amazing.
I think that the type 1 community, as they are able to dial in, because you need to be careful for sure. It will revolutionize type 1 diabetes as well. I believe it's going to get
It's
there.
going to. It's going to. Oh, yeah. So I think I actually am just learning that about the SLU Um, and I don't know, we can put it on our our list for Hani. Can we get that, please? And I don't have a ton of information on that. But Andrew, are you on? And also, please, we really want this to be conversational. So pop any questions that you guys have. Um, would you say like that your lifestyle, I mean, 35 pounds in 3 months is like a lot, especially with like the slow titration. So
Right.
when you're getting it from Big Pharma, you're getting these mega doses. They're just starting you right off the bat, like, hey, you'll lose weight faster, which is why we're seeing some of these negative side effects. It's
Right.
kind of ruined. I feel like we're doing a really good job at re-educating, especially LEMD as a brand. With our educational series and stuff. But
Right.
would you say that that 35 pounds, like because of all the holistic things that you were doing in your lifestyle, that definitely helped to clear the pathway?
Yeah, I definitely I agree with that, and I think for me now again everybody's different, right? So there's no one dosage for everybody. It's you've got to find what works for you. So you got to experiment a little. You need to know. You need to have someone in your corner. That's why LEMD is so great. You have a telehealth concierge service that has licensed physicians that know peptides. It's not like you're just talking to your primary care that has heard about it and says, okay, I can write you a script, but they don't really understand it. It's like if you go to the gun range, you don't want someone teaching you how to shoot a shotgun that's never shot one before. You want someone who knows the power of the ammo that they're giving you. So you want to follow people that know what they're talking about. And so for me, I knew that I needed to start on, I think I started on like 2 milligrams. And what I did was I broke that 2 milligrams up into 2 shots per week. I've been taking shots my whole life, so it wasn't a big deal for me. So I would take 1 milligram Sunday night, and then I'd take another milligram Thursday morning, and I would keep the efficacy rate really high because, like any drug or any kind of medicine, it starts to taper off. If you're doing it once a week, you're going to have that taper. So I would kind of bypass that tapering effect and just keep the efficacy rate really high. And like I said, I was walking every day, and then I was drinking lots of water, and I wasn't really even lifting a lot at that point. So just doing those things, I think I turned into a fat burning machine. I probably lost 15 pounds of water weight and inflammation and all of that right off, the bat in the first 2 weeks. And then
Mhm.
it was just a slow progression. It was like 2 pounds every week or two, and it was steady and consistent. And I'd never seen that kind of weight loss before because, again, remember, if your glucose levels are not optimized, it is impossible for your body to access fat as a fuel. It won't do it. It just, your body's built by God to work a certain way. So if you're always putting sugars into your bloodstream, it's going to always default to that. So for me, limiting that, like you were talking about holistic foods, just eating nutrient dense foods, eating avocados, eating raw cheddar, eating, a lot of red meat, fish, chicken, and then, kind of limiting. And can I be honest with you guys? Like, I love sugar. I don't know if it's a cruel joke God played on me, but I am like, I love it. Like, I have no problem eating an entire birthday cake in front of you. Like, I would just demolish it. I love it. And at night, that would be the hardest part. I'd work out, eat right, do great, and then at night, it's like the Haagen-Dazs is just like calling your name, like, come to me. And I would cry,
Andrew, Andrew.
I would cave. It was like that. And then you just screw up your whole
Not
metabolism.
just like two
Oh no.
spoonfuls, like the whole
Like the whole
I
thing.
I like to live life to the fullest, but then you pay the price. And I realized that what the peptides did for me, it helped limit that food noise and helped unlock a door for me where I was able to just go to bed and not pay attention to that noise. I just didn't have it anymore. I actually didn't even have the desire for sugar, which was crazy. I didn't even, it actually kind of repulsed me. So I was able to get over that threshold and really meet my goals. And I don't know if that answered the question, but
Yeah, it did. Totally. And I'm sure your wife is gonna Your wife is going to speak into that too because she's
Yeah,
kind
my
of
wife's got
she runs the home. She runs the
she's the real
little.
leader.
Yes, she is.
Yes, yeah. It was great. I mean, his journey has been life changing for all of us, and yeah,
Yeah.
even his moods have leveled out, which is amazing. So my journey is a little bit different, but I have done all the right things most of the time. I'm not like I was never really a big sugar eater like he was. Like I would never really crave those things. I did like carbs, but I for the most part tried everything I possibly could. I was a huge fan of Dr. Axe, did all of his things. I still am. I love Dr. Axe. I highly respect him. But I came to a place where it was about a little over a year ago. You know, I was postpartum, but I just gained 30 pounds out of nowhere in a matter of like 4 weeks. It was crazy. We had just moved back to Florida from Virginia. I thought it was the stress. I thought I was just feeling overwhelmed. I didn't really understand what was happening, but I was gaining all this weight so fast and I was just shocked. I had never seen that much weight gain. And I literally was working out. I was running. I was doing Pilates. I was trying to do everything I possibly could, eating the right foods, smoothies, juicing, like what Vanessa was talking about. And it just still, I was just stuck. So I started hearing about peptides from other things, but then Vanessa really started speaking into it in my life. And I was really interested doing more research, but I was scared because I was also hearing about all the bad side effects and all of these things. Started listening to a doctor that was talking about microdosing, which is, it's really huge right now for me because I feel like it's definitely, it can still help with so much as far as joint pain, the sugar cravings, all of those things.
Right.
But I began it after seeing him walk through it. I was like, okay, I feel like it's safe and I can do it. And I don't know, there was so much fear behind it all because people that have never tried it, they're just not sure. So I began it, and then, gosh, automatically within 2 or 3 days, the inflammation, I would always feel it in my face, and it just was gone. In 3 days, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've lost 15 pounds, but it was really just water and inflammation. I feel
Yeah.
like it was mostly just inflammation that was decreasing. I wasn't craving, sometimes you just have that midday like craving for something sweet. It just was going away. I wasn't eating as I wasn't over I never really overate before, but I just wasn't craving anything bad. The food noise, all of the food noise just started decreasing. So in a matter of 3 months, I lost the 30 pounds that I had gained, and I felt so much better. I had a lot of joint pain, maybe even related to autoimmune. I'm not really sure. It could have been. I was always very sensitive to gluten, always sensitive to all of these. I had allergies growing up my whole life, and all of those things just started going away. Even TMJ, you guys, like I know this was crazy, but the TMJ, I would always feel it a lockjaw
Yeah.
in my jaw. And I noticed the other day, I was like, I don't even have that pain anymore. It's gone. It's totally gone. So it's changed my life. I didn't have cancer, but I did have the MTHF. I do have the MTHFR. It's red on my genetics test. As I've been going through this journey, I learned that it was red on both sides of my parents. It was really crazy. And my doctor looked at me and said, it's a miracle that you don't have cancer, because someone with your genetics testing should have cancer that is in my practice that would be here would have cancer, but you don't. So something that you've done has unlocked the door to be able to detox the right way. And I think there was a number of things besides Jesus, obviously, but this I felt like unlocked
Yeah.
with an even bigger key for me to just push through. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
really
find out you're
good.
pre-diabetic?
Oh yes. So
Yeah.
they said I was pre-diabetic when I first
Hmm.
started this, which I was incredibly shocked because I was always so careful with sugar, but I was just like, I can't even believe that they would say that.
I'm in this
Um,
place.
yeah,
Right.
but I was pre-diabetic, and then I took the test later, and none of it was showing up. So I'm no longer pre-diabetic, no longer have high cholesterol. My heart palpitations, all of those things were or going. So, Kat, what are you taking and how long? Well, I started with tirzepatide, which I
The
felt
GLP-1,
that
GIP.
GLP-1, yeah, GIP. That was what I started with first, and I in a matter of 2 or 3 days, it would literally all of the pain I was feeling, joint pain, all of that was just gone.
Hmm.
And in a matter of 3 months, I felt better than I did when I was in my 20s. And I'm 40. How old am I?
Let's keep that a
42.
secret.
I don't know.
Exactly. We're
I'm in my
all
late
aging
40s.
backwards. It doesn't matter
It's
anymore.
true. It's so
It doesn't
true.
matter anymore. I want to do that genetic test, like the blood testing that you
Yeah,
did, Andrew, because I've been on these peptides for about like consistently, like I'm going in my sixth year now.
yeah.
And just I didn't really get into a part of my testimony. We're wrapping up here, but like again, very similar autoimmune. I moved back to Florida and it was like, oh my gosh, you're allergic to Florida. You've gained 50
Yeah.
pounds. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
the heat. I'm swelling. I don't know. But that was that season when I moved back to Florida, that
Yes, it
Lighthouse
does
Point
feel.
house. But anyways, so I am now microdosing. I saw someone ask other things. So
Do
BPC
wonders for your blood.
157, the NAD, I was off of it for 4 weeks. I just got it refilled. I'm like, it's tangible. It is a tangible difference. You stack these peptides together and they really just, I love how you guys keep saying unlock. They
Yeah.
unlock, if you're hitting a gate, like a wall, and you've tried all of the things and you know you're stewarding your body, you're making the right choices. This is where the peptides come in and, like they said, unlock that door
Yeah.
to your healing journey. And so I just want to encourage you guys, if you have anything else you want to pop in the questions here, it's 9:21, 9:29. I
Yeah.
want to respect everyone's time. We
I want
have
to
that microdosing special. Go ahead. Go
Can I
ahead,
just say
Andrew.
one other thing? Number one,
Yes,
anybody's
please.
watching this or listening, absolutely, if you do anything, get a genetics test. That is like
Yeah.
key to the game. It's really, really important. I didn't realize that I needed to take a very specific type of magnesium that I was not taking that would allow my body to absorb the vitamins and minerals that I was taking in other supplements. So I was basically wasting money and wasting
Wasting
time
money.
by not taking certain things. So that's one thing. The other thing is being a type 1 diabetic, one of the things that we deal with is arthritic conditions. And like you're just more prone to arthritis because it's just part of the game. But I'm a musician, I travel, perform, have for decades. And so doing the same motion over and over again with my hands, my fingers, I would develop something called trigger finger. It's an arthritic condition where your finger locks and it's extremely painful. I have had it on a couple fingers, and in order to correct it, I had to have surgery. They literally put you under and they cut, and you have a scar and the whole thing. And so I got it a third time in the middle finger on my right hand, which is my finger picking hand. And I didn't want to get the surgery. It's expensive, the whole thing. And I just lived with it for 4 years. 4 years of I'd go pick up the grocery bags from the car and my finger would lock and it's like you're getting electrocuted. It's that painful. And I just lived with it. I kid you not, when I got on tirzepatide, the trigger finger disappeared. It doesn't even exist in my hand anymore. It never locks. I'm not saying that it'll do that for every single person, but that was for me something that it did that blew my mind. It was like I couldn't believe it. So I think we're going to see as more data and more research come out now that this is becoming more common that the benefits are almost endless. Like people are going to experience health in a way that they've never experienced before.
I completely agree. I feel like, like Hani always says, it's that first big lever that you pull because they're putting sugars in in
Yeah.
everything. We're just so affected and so off balance. I mean, even as a baby, in baby formula, it's like so much sugar. Like we're just right off the bat. So I feel I'm sorry, I'm in a hotel lobby. Um, so yes, if you're on the fence with anything or, kind of exploring what your peptide journey could look like, I mean, microdosing is such a good place to start. It's a very low and slow, um, uh, cost effective, especially right now with that NAD that boosts your energy and your mitochondrial health. Get with the person that invited you tonight. I am so excited that you guys are here and sharing your story and a part of LEMD. Thank you guys so much for popping on tonight. If there is there anything else going on? I see the chat going off, but I'm talking, so I can't read it. Is there anything else we need to address for anybody? This is your last few seconds here to pop it
Some
in.
people are just
Okay.
asking about the genetics test. You can go to any
Okay.
naturopathic doctor or functional medicine
Yeah.
doctor. Any doctor could, most doctors can give like a genetics test. It's about $500 to $600. It is a huge investment, but it's worth it because you can learn. Like I didn't know I needed methylated B12, so now I know. So those things are very important to know if you're taking supplements and other things.
For sure. For sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vanessa. You're an incredible
You're
host.
welcome. Yay. Love you guys so much. Love you, everyone. I'm so glad you hopped on, connect with the person that invited you so we can get you started on your peptide journey and unlock your health. Love you
Yes.
guys.
Love you.